In this video I will explain how to work bubbles on Smilga Shawl. If you are using 2 or more colors for your shawl, it means your bubbles will be in contrasting color. Now because the distance between these bubbles here and these bubbles here, which are on the same row, is too long, it will be really hard to work it in stranded knitting style and extend the contrasting color thread all the way to the next place where we need to make the bubble. Therefore, we are going to use Intarsia method to work the bubbles within each diamond. Now there are 2 ways how we can approach it. One of the ways is to cut thread long enough to work all these 9 bubbles within each diamond. For that you will need 350 centimeters, which would be 138 inches of thread for each diamond. However, there is also another method which I used for my sample. I cut thread for these 3 bubbles in each diamond, and then for these 3 bubbles later in each diamond. For these 3 bubbles, to work 3 bubbles, we will need 110 centimeters, which would be around 43 inches of thread for each diamond. Once we finish working these 3 bubbles in each diamond, next row we can use one continuous thread to work these bubbles all through the row, because the distance between the stitches is short enough to use a stranded knitting method. Now when we reach these 3 bubbles, we again will cut another thread of 110 centimeters, which is 43 inches, and we will work these 3 bubbles in each diamond in Intarsia method as well. Now the good thing about working it in this method is because you will have shorter yarn to manage for all these Intarsia sections. However, you will have many more ends to weave in, because you will have 2 ends for these 3 bubbles, and you will have 2 ends for these 3 bubbles, and for this row you will have just 1 end on one side of the row and 1 end on the other side of the row. If you are using Intarsia method with longer thread, when you work all your 9 bubbles in the same thread, you will need only weave in 2 ends, 1 end here and 1 end here. So it really depends on what you prefer.